Hello and welcome back to English Conversation Hub, the podcast for learners who want to take their skills to the next level. I'm your host, Ava.
And I'm Oliver. Hey everyone. So Ava, today we're tackling a topic that is, it's probably one of the most common frustrations we hear from English learners everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. It's that classic problem. I can understand everything, but I can't speak. You can watch movies, you can read articles, you listen to this podcast, but when it's your turn to talk, the words just disappear.
Exactly. Your mind just goes completely blank. It feels like there's a wall between your brain and your mouth. So in this episode, we're going to break down why this happens, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it.
Let's get into it. So I think the first thing people need to understand is the difference between passive and active skills.
Right. This is the absolute core of the issue. So your passive skills are things like listening and reading. You're receiving information. Your brain is recognizing patterns, words, and grammar that you've seen or heard before.
You're decoding it.
Exactly. But your active skills, speaking and writing, are completely different. You're not just receiving, you have to produce the language from scratch. You have to find the words, structure the sentence, use the right grammar, and say it with the correct pronunciation, all in real time.
It's like watching a professional chef cook a complex meal. You can watch them do it, understand every step, you might even know all the ingredients, but that doesn't mean you can just go into the kitchen and cook it perfectly yourself.
That is a perfect analogy. Watching is passive. Doing is active. And for most learners, their passive vocabulary is huge, way bigger than their active vocabulary. The words are in your brain somewhere, but you haven't built the neural pathways to retrieve them quickly and use them in a sentence.
Right, they're locked in a filing cabinet, and speaking requires you to find the key, open the cabinet, and pull out the right file in like half a second. It's a skill that needs separate practice.
Totally. So that's the first piece of the puzzle. But it's not just about mechanics, is it? There's a huge psychological part to this as well.
Oh, this is the big one, the fear. The fear of making mistakes, of sounding stupid, of being judged. It's paralyzing for so many people.
It really is. When you're listening or reading, you're safe. No one knows if you didn't understand a word. But when you speak, you're exposed, you're vulnerable, and your brain, trying to protect you, just shuts down.
Yeah, it's that fight or flight response, but for language. A lot of learners are also perfectionists. They want to say the sentence perfectly in their head before they even open their mouth. And of course, by the time they've constructed this beautiful, grammatically perfect sentence, the conversation has moved on.
The story of my life when I was learning Spanish. I'd be ready with the perfect response to something someone said like 2 minutes ago. It's just not practical. Conversation is messy and imperfect, even for native speakers. We use fillers, we correct ourselves, we start sentences we don't finish.
We do all the time. So learners put this immense pressure on themselves to be perfect, and that pressure is what causes them to freeze. It's a vicious cycle. You're afraid to make a mistake, so you don't speak. But if you don't speak, you don't practice. And if you don't practice, you'll never get better or more confident.
Okay, so we've identified the two main culprits, the passive versus active skill gap and the psychological barrier of fear and perfectionism. So the million-dollar question, what can our listeners actually do to bridge that gap and start speaking?
All right, let's get into the practical strategies. The first one, and one of my favorites, is a technique called shadowing.
Ah, yes, shadowing. Can you break that down for us?
Sure, it's simple. You find a short audio clip of a native speaker. It could be from a podcast, a movie, anything. You listen to it and you repeat what they're saying in real time, trying to copy their pronunciation, their rhythm, their intonation, everything. You're basically their shadow.
I love this technique because it gets your mouth moving without the pressure of creating your own sentences. You're building the physical muscle memory of speaking English.
Exactly. It connects your ears to your mouth directly, bypassing that part of your brain that's overthinking and translating. It helps make the sounds of English feel more natural to you.
Okay, so that's tip number 1, shadowing. What's next?
Tip number 2 is to start thinking in English. This is about breaking the habit of translating in your head.
Right, because that translation process is what slows you down and makes conversation feel impossible. You're doing twice the work.
Totally. So you have to train your brain to form thoughts directly in English. And you can start really, really small. Look around the room you're in. Instead of seeing a chaise and translating it to chair, just see it and think chair, desk, window, blue wall.
Labeling your world.
Yes, and then you move on to simple sentences. Narrate your day in your head. Okay, now I'm walking to the kitchen. I'm going to make some coffee. I need a mug. It feels silly at first, but it rewires your brain.
That directly leads to the third tip, which is to find low-stakes ways to practice. The fear we talked about comes from high-stakes situations, like a job interview or talking to a native speaker you want to impress.
So you need to practice where the stakes are zero. Talk to yourself out loud. Describe what you're doing, what you see out the window. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes because no one is listening.
Or record yourself on your phone. Pick a simple topic, like what did I do yesterday, and just talk for 1 minute. Then listen back. You'll be surprised at what you hear, and you'll notice things you want to improve without any external judgment.
Finding a patient, friendly language exchange partner is also amazing for this. Someone who is also learning, so you both understand the struggle. The key is to create a safe space where it's okay to be imperfect.
And that brings us to the final and maybe most important mindset shift.
Definitely. And for those who might not know where to start looking for a language partner, it can feel daunting. But there's so many apps and websites now specifically designed for this. Apps like Tandem or HelloTalk are fantastic. They're like social media, but for language learners. You create a profile, list the languages you speak and are learning, and you can find people from all over the world to chat with, either through text or voice messages.
Let's hear it.
Change your goal. Your goal is not to speak perfect English. Your goal is to communicate.
Yes, that's it. Communication over perfection. If you say, yesterday I go to store, is it grammatically perfect? No. Is it understandable? 100% yes. The other person understands you. That's a success.
Exactly. You can fix the grammar later. In the moment, celebrate the fact that you communicated an idea. Let go of that perfectionism. Embrace the mistakes. They are evidence that you are trying, and they are the only way you will ever get better.
Wow, okay, that was a lot of great information. Let's do a quick recap of the main takeaways for our listeners.
For sure. So first, understand that speaking is an active skill that needs separate practice from listening and reading. They're different muscles. Second, acknowledge the fear. It's real, but you can overcome it by lowering the stakes.
Right. And our key strategies were 1. Use shadowing to build muscle memory. 2. Think in English to stop translating. 3. Practice in low-stakes environments. And 4, the big one, aim for communication, not perfection.
That's it. And remember, if you're feeling this way, you are not alone. This is a completely normal, universal stage of language learning. You're not broken, your brain is working fine, you just need to start activating that knowledge.
Be kind to yourself and take one small step today. That's all for this episode of English Conversation Hub. We'd love to hear about your experiences with this, so find us on our social media and share your story.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Keep practicing, and we'll talk to you next time.